Hi, this is Ernie. I'm the guy who had 6,000 in his checking account to now having millions of dollars. I apologize. I still sound a little nasal from my bad sinus infection, but I'll try to make it without, sniffling, without having to go blow my nose. So please hang in there. But before we start, the market is closed tomorrow. So if you need to roll options, today is the day. So make sure you set a timer or alarm so that you'll be able to roll before market closes today. What are we talking about today? We're going to talk about how painful it is to lose money in the market at the moment, ever since the tariff fiasco started. And I'm going to show you a best trading strategy so that you will be able to be in better position when the market goes up. And also talk about the choices you have. What choices do you have at the moment when market is down? One, you sell it and wait for the bottom. Unfortunately, nobody knows the bottom. You could have some belief, some leading indicator, but for anybody to really understand like exact bottom or a couple days before the bottom, even Wall Street money managers, they don't know. So to me, that's not a realistic choice. Another choice is you sell what you have and you buy or you invest in something that you think is going to do well in these types of environment. Things that are predominantly in the US, things that are, I told you, in recessionary times, beer does really well, tobacco does really well, utilities do really well. So if you believe that we're going to go into a recession, those are the things maybe you need to rebalance your portfolio so that you will get a better return. And then once the economy picks back up, you rebalance it again so that you'll benefit from it. These, you need to do a lot of research. But it's not, it's a still very good choice for you to choose from. Another one is you rebalance it using leveraged fund. So just as an example, just a hypothetical example, let's say your portfolio is down 25%. You put everything into leverage funds, meaning when it goes back up 25, now you're going back up 75 because the 3x funds give you triple the return. So now you're going to be up overall 50% while everybody is back to even. That is how and why I use leverage funds very often. But it is not for new investors and it is not to be used as a long-term hold unless you know how to use options. And that's what I want to talk about today. You could be even in a better position if you are using leverage funds and options because it enables you to do two things. One, accumulate more at a lower price, and your cost is going to go down. Cost basis, meaning the amount of money that you have or average cost is going to go down. So you're going to, when the market goes up, right, let's say it was $10, you now down to $7.50. If you buy leverage funds, rather than 10, it's going to go up to 15. But what happens is, at 15, rather than having 1,000 shares, you will now have 1,200 shares, and your cost is not 10 anymore. Maybe it's down to $9.50. So the amount of profit that you can make could be a lot larger compared to if you just wait, or if you reallocate, or if you just use leverage funds. So this is how you typically benefit from this. I will give you an example, which I just did. The video actually went longer than 10 minutes, so I needed to re-record this whole thing. But I just did this like literally 10 minutes ago. So let's go to the screen and I'll explain to you step by step. So the holding that I have is SOXL. This is the triple leverage fund, similar to SOXX. This is the semiconductor. It went from $80 to like $7 some. It popped last Wednesday, which I exited, and then I started getting back in. So you'll see that I have about 2171 shares. and my cost is about $10.12. Every Monday, what do? I sell put options and I use that money to buy more shares. So as you can see from here, I have a gain of this, and this is going to predominantly expire worthless because the current price is $9.12. It's not going to go below 8 unless market just tanks at the end. And what did I do 10 minutes ago? Given that I have 100 shares, 71 extra, you cannot do anything. All right, remember, in order to sell one contract, you need to have 100 shares. I sold 950 calls expiring today. Remember the 17th, 18th. It expires today at 8 cents, which is close to 9%, 0.9% return, just selling in one day. And I ended up getting $161.41. And then using this money, I bought more shares of SOXL. So I bought 17 of them at $9.29 and a half. And I spent $158. So to explain this in one chart, I am using, I liquidated before, or using my cash and buy SOXL, which is the 3X fund. And I'm using options. So every Monday I'm selling put options, I get money. And every Friday I'm selling call options. Why Friday? Again, if I sell that on Monday and stock pops, then I have to give it to them at a cheaper price or lower price than what I pay for. And I don't want to do that. So to minimize potentially getting things exercised, I sell them on Friday. That one, I'm getting close to 3%. This one is about 1%. And using that money, now it's close to 4%. I am buying more shares. And I'm buying shares at a lower price, as you can tell, at $9.29, some even lower into 8s. So what do I get? I get more shares. And what happens to my cost? It goes down lower. So lower cost, more shares. That means when the stock pops or ETF pops, I'm going to make even more money. This is how you get into a better position when the market is lower. You could wait. That's still a choice for you. Or you can learn to use options. And you don't necessarily have to do this with 3X fund. I'm more familiar with it, so that's why I use it. And I'm greedy during times like this. So that's why I use 3X. You could do it with whatever you have. There was one follower who messaged me about Walmart. Walmart gives actually very good option pricing, option premium. You could do this with Walmart. You could do this with Apple. You could do this with Nvidia. You might not be able to get that much return because you're not talking about 3X funds like mine. I mean, there's nothing that gives you 1%, almost 1% on selling on the day it expires. That's why I'm using these. But enabling, or you using this will enable you to be in a better financial position when the market goes back up. So please learn to do this and give it a try with a small amount of money, or use paper trading so that you're not using your real money. But this is one of the best trading strategy for you to be in a better position. So please learn to do this. It took me a while to learn how to do this, but I'm making a video so that everybody can watch it. And I have a lot of videos on their watch list called Leveraging Options. Please comment, like, repost, tell your friends about this, and also send me messages. I'm a little behind on direct messages, but send me messages if you have any questions. Enjoy rest of today and happy trading.